Hello. Here's a face you probably haven't seen in a little while. Yep, that's right. I'm back in Minecraft. I kind of wound up, if you've been wondering where the videos have been, I wound up taking a bit of a break because, well, I really burned myself out this time. And it took a while to get over it, and I've been doing a lot of other things, like spending a lot of time in Space Engineers, spending time in Factorio, even spending some time over in Agrarian Skies 2, and not actually participating on the multiplayer servers. I'm kind of hoping to pick that up a little bit in the new year, because I know it's been a while, and I've gotten some of my building inspiration back, and also kind of gotten a little bit of grunt work done too, because as you'll see behind me here, yeah, I've got a lot of work to do in actually building what I want to build here. So if you don't recognize the server, we are back on the Zombiecraft server. The rest of my base is over in that direction. A couple little tweaks here and there, but nothing too bad. Really kind of changing here, but most of my work has been down here in the cathedral area, and if you kind of recognize the design a little bit, it's because this is indeed inspired by my Season 3. Is it Season 3? Holy crap. Season 1, Season 2, Season 1 Ice Blade, Season 2, yeah, Season 3. Well, not that's really a season anymore, but anyways, the newer side of the Zombiecraft stuff, and the things, and the whatchamacallits, and the hey! Yeah, I'm pushing that one a little bit, aren't I? So yeah, I have been slowly chipping away at all of this, right down to the bedrock level, and slowly making my way back through here, and kind of starting to try to establish a little bit more of this build. Now, this is not going to be the final form of this. Oh, no. No, as you can probably guess, I have some ideas for what I'm actually going to build off to the sides here. I'm not going to go into too much detail on them because, well, frankly, I could end up changing my mind for all I know. But the important thing right now is I've got a ton of digging still to do down here. Certainly, if only just to finish carving out the bottom of this all the way back over to the initial entry point here. So there is a method to my madness here, and I definitely want to, actually get all of this. Well, let's be honest, I want to get this done. I've even torn out the old stairwell I had going down into here, so now the only way I can actually get in and out is to go all the way over. Let's free up a hand slot here. All the way over back to where my mining shaft ladder pops out into the underground here. There we go. So now I can bypass all that stuff. The reason why that whole area is blocked off is because I do indeed have 2 villagers roaming around that area. Now, with this being an underground base, the odds of me being able to breed them are non-existent. No matter what I do for trading, you can see there they are right there. So I've got a librarian and a farmer. They're not going to be breedable because I'm not about ready to, again, with the premise of my base on this server, I am deep underground and I am at Y29 here at my main level of my base. I have no desire to open up anything up to the sun in order to make it so that I can breed villagers yet. If I was going to work on a villager breeder, though, it would have to be off to the side, kind of like similar to how my tree farm is over here, or my netherwort farm, or, how a lot of my stuff is getting done. And yeah, I still have some more work to do up here. This is another one of those servers where I haven't quite finished off everything. I've got the Zombiecraft and the Zoominati side done, but I still have some tweaks to do to Spumcraft, namely that I've got to find some podzol, or actually, I think I can't, it's hard to remember what I've actually found and what I haven't found on this server. Either way, I've got a lot of building to do there, and then I've got the false symmetry side, which needs to be finished up as well. But for the time being, we've got all that. I don't think I've really done anything else here off camera that I need to show you guys, and part of that's because just of all the digging I've been doing. I did set this up as a concrete system. I'm making some more concrete. I can't remember if I had the terracotta in here before. It's the only combination I've seen that I actually like. random junk getting thrown around everywhere. I've had to actually expand my stone storage, and there's a reason for that, because I've been obviously mining up a lot of stone in andesite, which I need to actually drop off the andesite now that I'm not making any more of those pillars at the moment. Basically, I'm kind of building up a lot of resources, and I would really like to move on and do something a little different this week. In fact, those shulker boxes are full of stuff I've been mining up. And that something is going to be over in the nether. Because let's face it, it's been a long time since I've done a project in the nether. And you know me and nether projects. And yeah, I said I will never do any more. And then what do I go and do like 3 weeks later? I'll do another nether project. Okay, so yeah. Aside from the fact that my name is spelled wrong, this is not something I did. And the problem is I didn't want to link up to this main path. And I know the problem is the fact that, you know, obviously progress is being made on the server without me. I'm not in complete agreement with what is being done in some of these areas, and that is an attitude shared by more than a few people on the server, particularly with regards to the color scheme. Because while I appreciate the structure and the time and the effort that's been put into building this, the color selection could have been better. Especially because the cyan and the blues are very close in color hue, that it's very difficult to tell them all apart. So the consequence is when I wind up in this nether hub, I often can't figure out my way home. The problem is that I liked my portal being down on the bottom, and I was planning on doing a bit of a, you know, a nice windy tunnel build. Because, I mean, it's still down there. I can still get down here, but I don't want... My plan wasn't to link up to the inner path. I didn't want that at all. The problem is also that my portal is also incredibly close to Ice King, which now that is apparently... See, he's going to officially be there, I guess, and... Yeah, so I'm going to break through this, go down, reestablish my portal down here, because this is where I want my portal. I do not want my portal to be up at the top. I want this to remain down here. Because, again, like I said, temporary access to Nether Hall Primary will move to 200. Future path to 200 Ring Road. Because the 100 Ring Road really isn't... Look, what we got here. Massively zooming ghast because of world load lag, but otherwise a pretty good approximation of what I've got here, because my portal is, or at least where I want to have the portal room, is right above the lava lakes. So let's just go down and... There we go. So to kind of rough out where I am currently, it's kind of like right about... Actually, that'll drive me batty until I fix that properly. We're kind of about there, but we've got... really rough it out to the way it is. Lots and lots of stone slabs, because that's what I basically had to start with on building. I am not exactly fully rich in resources, but I'm getting there now, so that's why I kind of feel a little more confident about tackling this particular project. So, what I've got is my usual 3-wide, horse-safe portal arrangement, because if for some reason I want to ride a horse underground, I want to be able to actually bring it into my base safely. It's a habit of mine now just to make them 3-wide, just because it works. So, we've kind of got this starter platform down around, you know, the bottom of the nether. little bit above it, which I kind of like because you've got this whole... You've got the sound of the lava down here. You've got a pretty good unobstructed view. You're not going to see much except for the, the hull, or not hulls, the nether hub and the main tunnels going back and forth across the top. So you got a pretty nice view down here too. Now that said, way up here at the upper levels, let's see, yeah, let's kind of say that we're about here-ish. This is where the bulk of the path currently goes. So the reason why I had wanted to build out to 200 was because my idea was I was going to do a stair-step path. It was going to be kind of a sort of thing where you would have a little stretch of land, a stretch of path there, and then what you would do is you would then have further on a little bit of a stretch of stairs, and then from there you go through and have another stretch of path and just kind of stair step it up gradually. So the idea being that you would have these little landings, because obviously decorating anything along a constant incline like stairs, it's not very easy. I did it over on Zombiecraft Season 1 with the Nether Fortress stairs that were going up to the upper level of the hub, back when I was doing some of the work over there. And I could kind of do it in some instances. I think I might have done a little bit on the season... Yeah, the Season 2 hub was kind of hard because you had a second level, and it's like, well, what can I do in the stairwells? Not much of anything, because, I mean, think about it. If you're kind of doing any sort of motif, like, say, I want to have columns going through this. The columns have to go all the way up to the top, and they either have to stretch all the way across... You have to see them from this level all the way up. Or you've got this thing where, okay, I'm building kind of this little thing here. And actually, you can see some of the difficulties I've had with it over in my mob farm on the Susuminati server, where I've tried to kind of build something on an incline, and it's pretty darn difficult to add something and style it appropriately. So what you kind of end up with is a thing like this where you're just alternating stuff. You're not able to do any neat patterns like stairs, because if you do a stair at the wrong level, like say here, well, now you've kind of curved that in. Now how do you kind of make that work? This is curved in, I don't want it curved in, and this is not curved in. I can't do anything across there. See, you wind up killing a lot of the different things that you want to do. So what you wind up with, and you see this on a lot of designs, is, I'll use yellow here to show it, you wind up with this little blob there, for lack of a better word, of something, any block that just kind of has to be there, because if you leave it open, it looks odd. If you put a different kind of block there, like let's say I wanted to try doing a slab in there, you get this little weird nook, and you can do some creative stuff with that. Like, for instance, I could do some redstone lights and set them back in there, and just give them... Really? Come on. If I pick it up, could you just give it to me and not hide it in a creative inventory that I can't see? So you do things like that, so you can take advantage of some of the lighting glitches, but that's about it. And unfortunately, one of the problems I have with doing the nether lighting glitches is, while they look great for me on Forge Client, they don't look really great for people on vanilla, and then people who have got, like Optifine. You lose a lot of the glitch lighting. So as much as I still love my nether glitch lighting, it causes more problems than it's worth. So I could do that, and I could hide the lighting that way, but now the fact that the stairs continue off like that just looks weird. So working with an up-down style like this, where I abbreviate it to 2 posts, it's a little better. It makes doing this sort of transition a bit easier, to the point where what I would probably wind up doing would just be a pattern of, we don't want too dark, we don't want too light. So what I would probably do would be spruce fence and spruce fence gate, because I can get plenty of those materials. And just do an alternating pattern up the top, so I get that neat little kind of architectural feature to that, and then just round it off with something directly behind this. So okay, yeah, it's not going to be. It would probably use. I would probably use colored clay, if anything. If you're gonna see the, I'm back to my same problem here. What do I put up there? Yeah, that doesn't look too good. It doesn't look too bad. Same sort of thing, but I could also leave this open, stick something in there, like I could fit another set of trapdoors. I could do this with netherrack fences, and actually, my brain is just completely collapsed in on itself, because yeah, I can't even do that because there is no netherrack, nether brick fence gates. So I was kind of thinking I could run lava down the back of that, but it would probably wind up having to be, because of the flammability of the wood, it'd have to be glass behind there. I could get considerably more fancy. So that was kind of my thought, because then you get down to this level, and down here you've got everything nice and free that you can work in something like a 5x5, because it's Minecraft, and inevitably, either if you're doing this, since the width of the path is 5, the depth of, just to maintain that sort of weird little symmetry, which I know you're supposed to also try to break symmetry too, but I can do stuff like that, and I can really take advantage of it, because now I have this sort of follows the design aesthetics that I used in the tunnels on on the Symmetria server, where you've got these, you've got a regular pattern here, but you also break it up with a little bit of an element, and at the same time, that's where I'm also introducing the rise and the stairs. So this is kind of what I had in mind originally, and, well, unfortunately now that's kind of in jeopardy. So, like I said earlier, I need to think on Plan B, and Plan B, I think, is going to be somewhat similar. But because now I've got a very short stretch of hallway, I mean, it's no more than probably 20 blocks, and unfortunately it's the downside of settling so close to the spawn town area. Usually I prefer to go much further out from spawn, but this was the one spot I found that was absolutely perfect. Unfortunately, it turned out to be very popular. This is probably about the length of the path that I have to work with. Well, obviously, I could still try to do this design, but I would have to wrap the stairs around on themselves. And for starters, I hate that. I hate stairwells that wrap around on themselves, because it makes it very complex to deal with your height. Because obviously now I've got to take the, this is not necessarily how fast it would have risen. I could have, going out to 200, I probably would have stretched this out to maybe a 2-block rise, because when you look at this, for instance, this is going to look a lot better if I do it like that. So that way we've got one elevation change there and one elevation change kind of here, and go out that way. So it would be it'd be less of a dramatic elevation change, and you can even kind of you can jump almost halfway up that. It's less basically jitter to the path, so you can kind of, you'd be able to see it going up instead of having the view constantly cut off by half on your way up, so you'll be able to see up the whole path. That, you lose that when you start wrapping your stairwells around. Then it also makes it a lot harder to kind of walk them automated. You can't just, it's like having to go up a winding staircase from someone's UHC, where they've gone down in a circle, which is a valid way of going down, but it is a pain to get back up, a major pain to get back up those. So I don't really fancy the idea of wrapping the path around and then having to, in order to wrap it back around on top of that, now you're limiting what you may be able to put up at the ceiling there, and this has got to rise fast enough to do it, so now you're making a very steep path. I don't really fancy that design. So plan B, to keep the idea of having my portal down low, because this is an underground base. The portal belongs down low. I'm sorry. The overworld is up here, and my base is supposed to be, the whole theme is, it's cut off, it's down below. So, how do I work with that? Well, my proclivities with nether path design say that I generally try to keep the paths spawn free. So slabs are kind of the way to go. Alright, so hopefully I'm talking to you guys after doing just a little bit of a musical montage. Don't exactly know how well replay mod will work with that, because right about when I was really kind of hitting my stride on building this, I ran into a problem because the server went down and did not come back up that same night. So I actually had to finish everything up the next day. I didn't want to actually start off in there because I kind of want to give you guys the experience of what it looks like when you actually go into there. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what we've got here. And right off the bat, it doesn't look like much at all, right? I mean, in fact, if I go out here, you might even recognize this was where my portal indeed actually was. Yeah, because the reason I've left this here is because, well, I came down and I found out someone's been draining some lava down here, and, well, I mean, let's face it, I've got the most convenient place near the hub to actually go out and pick up lava. So I have actually turned this into the public lava area. So, hey, if you need lava on the server, come on down. Take your pick from this little island here, because you can pretty much pull from any corner. There's tons of it to go around. And, you know, I might kind of go around and maybe put some scaffolding up out here just so that way you can kind of go out a little ways and get some variation on it. But, as you probably saw at the corner of when I was looking over this way, oh, hey, there's a tunnel. In fact, there's more than a tunnel. There is a upper and lower level. Now, it's not quite what I initially envisioned. It is a, you know, it is a dropper area in here. There is a hole in here that you can come down. The hole is not as big as I wanted, but I also wasn't realizing that slime blocks apparently count as spawnable areas, at least as far as the F7 display is concerned. I don't know if actual entities can spawn there or not, but kind of came to the realization, yeah, I probably don't want to have a 5x5 area down here that a ghast could spawn in, because that'll just ruin everyone's day. So basically, you can come up here up to the top level, and I've kind of decked out the levels here with a little bit of extra decoration, so you have something while you're going down. And then up here, this was where the portal used to be, right about here, and now it's just got a simple watch your step, because you drop right down that. The goal is you want to kind of hit along that area, because if you hit on the edge, you are going to take damage, and if you hit elsewhere, you're not. But I don't want to also do the whole bottom as a slime block, because it does make walking around down there a bit challenging. That's the side you want to go down. This one's been mirrored over here for symmetry, but it's a goes nowhere, does nothing. So up here, the tunnel itself, pretty straightforward design. I mean, nothing too fancy. I did kind of play around with the glass, and the neat thing about this is even though they're not, right on top of each other, they're placed in such a way that I don't believe a ghast will be able to shoot you unless you get up to here. In which case, then a ghast does have line of sight on you and may attack. But down here, you should be pretty safe. And I had a ghast flying around over on this side of the tunnel a little while ago, and he didn't seem content to, he basically seemed content to fly around. I shouldn't say he didn't seem content. He was quite content. So basically, boom, right out here to the ring road. It's not a very long tunnel. I mean, it's very short. It's maybe about half the length of, maybe 2/3 the length of what I had on the last world. So about the same, pretty much. Just kind of working some little simple details in here, like using the fences up at the, or the gates up at the top, to kind of mimic rafters running along the top, and also using them out here, because you get a really neat effect when you use them as a kind of in-between block for something like these hanging lights here. So all the levers on this are behind here, because for the most part, you don't really see them unless you're going up against the wall like this. So if you're just casually walking down here, you're generally not seeing, well, now I am kind of seeing it now, I'm looking for it, but it's a very small, subtle thing. It's easy to kind of miss off the side. I didn't want to do the levers below, because you do see the tails there. Now, there's one bit of detail that I don't have completely done on this, and that is, if I go back down here to the bottom, you'll see I've got up at the top this gray concrete up here, and that's because it's about a 3 bounce minimum before you can get out without taking too much damage with feather falling. That color is supposed to be mirrored down here, and you can see I made the start for it here. The problem is as you can imagine, there's nothing to actually build out on, and unfortunately, because I didn't have tons of sand and gravel lying around at the time, I couldn't actually do anything here, and like kind of put them in as I was building out. So I do need to come back and actually add all that detail. But the good news is I can just scaffold off of this tower here. Just nerd pull my way up it and scaffold over and put it in place, and then, as I go, take it out. So that's what I had to do to actually get there's some glowstone over there. You can just see one block left. I needed to get more glowstone because I completely ran out. Now, I don't know if the lighting is a little too dense on that. I tested it out on another build, and I did only every other column here, but it looked a little odd with kind of what to put in between there. Now, again, it is kind of annoying that every time I want to go up and down, I've got to go up the ladder. But, hey, you know what? Of all things to have to worry about, that's actually not too bad. Now, you might also be saying, well, Farrell, a little while ago, you were talking about, well, you're going to need to have a place for your stable and everything. Well, the reality of it is that I'm so close to spawn at this point that really I can probably use a stable in here. I believe there is one actually in the hub itself. It's such a short run that I'm not too worried about kind of losing a lot of time going back and forth and back and forth. Whereas last time I was on the 300 path, so it was, yeah, everything is kind of, it's over here if I remember correctly. Yep, stable over here. Corfy to go, not safe. Well, then why is it wide open if it's not? Okay, well, I don't know now if this is technically Corfy's, or not, or if this is a public use stable. Either way, I'm close enough that I'm not really all that worried about it. So that's kind of what I've got done now. Downsides to this design, first off, anything starts flinging around gassed fireballs out here, and I've got a very fragile tunnel. Because the lamps will pop right off, the levers will pop right off, the fences can burn up, and yeah, it's not perfect. So if a gas gets around back in here, yeah, there's going to be bad times for all. And I'm possibly going to be losing some side detail around here. That's why I'm kind of, as I'm hearing that gas, I'm kind of looking around and backing off just a little bit. Just in case, but no, looks like we're good. So, that's all set. And yeah, it's kind of blah for the color. I mean, the yellow and green kind of work out, but the spacing on the columns is too close for it to really kind of pop that much. It's just like I wanted to bring down the gray in the back here, but I wound up actually choosing some leftover white concrete I had from my base build just to make that pop a little more, and so I didn't have to actually put lighting up the rear. Because the neat thing about this tunnel is lit up completely by the lights on the outside of the tunnel. There's no internal lighting in here whatsoever. This is all just naturally lit. So it's kind of another neat little take on, you know, some of the old tricks that I like to do with nether tunnels, like the light glitches and everything. Well, now I'm using indirect outside lighting to actually light the tunnel.